that is something. What was that like, standing on that deck?
You know, you stand there, and 80 years ago, and of course then it was a lot less, but you just look and you go, this is where history was made.
Truly.
It just gets you right here. And these are stories we can't forget. Truman was right. We must remember these. We must remember the heritage of those heroes.
On the eve of the Veterans Day, we're remembering them, and thank you for telling that story. What incredible moments on that ship.
Incredible footage, and incredible that you got to cover it, Greg. I mean, as a reporter, that is really something remarkable. You were part of history.
Well, I certainly was an observer of it, yeah.
Remarkable. Thank you for that one, Craig. Really, we appreciate it. All right, Alana.
In the weather world, we've got cooler temperatures heading into tonight, but we have to talk about that inversion haze heading into our Veterans Day, which should be lovely for tomorrow. We thank everybody for their service when it comes to the veterans. Let's take that view of Ensign Peak, because I want to show you what the time lapse looked like. It's a great sunset, but you see that valley inversion. This time of year, high pressure allows for us to trap those pollutants on the valley floor, and that layer of haze has been building over the weekend since high pressure took over. Great sunset, though. Absolutely love it. So we will see some haze holding on into tomorrow. As you look at our inversion high temperatures, this really also tells the weather story. Look at those numbers along the Wasatch Front. In Salt Lake County, we saw the upper 50s. We were lucky to crack 60 in Holiday, but the Wasatch back soaring into the low 60s with places like Park City, Midway, Heber, with higher temperatures than Salt Lake City. And that just goes to prove that that inversion haze will moderate temperatures, and it continues as we head into tomorrow. As we look at our valley inversion level, just below 5,500 feet is where we've seen that haze really build. We no longer stretches. We could see that rise. Luckily, we're going to break this up as we get towards the midweek with the help of some wind. But unfortunately, tomorrow, moderate air quality will hold on for some. Weber County, south to Utah County, looking at some elevated particulate matter. So we won't clear it Tuesday. Wednesday, we're going to start to work on it, take the edge off. By Thursday, it's gone. Now we had clearer skies in other portions of the state. Great shot of that sunset in Castledale. Thank you for submitting your photo on abc4.com. Really easy to do. It's just a click. And then Phoenix, Hemsworth, catching those blue skies in Iron County, where we have clearer conditions in southern Utah. Pretty sunset down there as well. St. George was part of that time-lapse video showing just a few high thin clouds sneaking through as the sun goes down. But those temperatures in the low to mid 70s for those highs. 72 for the high in St. George. Salt Lake saw 59 for that daytime high. Some 60s on the eastern side of the state. Still above average. This time of year, 54 is usually where we are. We jumped above that even with inversion haze. Getting into the overnight, partly cloudy skies become mostly clear. We'll see those numbers getting into the low to mid 40s along the Wasatch Front. Your Veterans Day planner showing those temperatures climbing into the low 60s. We'll see partly cloudy skies, add some sunshine to it, but it will be hazy sunshine in portions of the Wasatch Front. Now our dry pattern really has settled in underneath that ridge of high pressure, bringing in stable air, but some changes are brewing. How about a moist air mass? That could move in with the development of this low. We're tracking this pattern shift because it would really change the game, considering the last week of October and the beginning of November have been exceptionally dry. Our upper level futurecast walks us through the possibility of these changes. There's two options that could happen. So let's talk about it. We've got our ridge of high pressure that's going to keep us quiet for our Tuesday. As it slides and gets displaced by Wednesday and into Thursday, we get warmer temperatures. Numbers will spike because of the southwesterly winds. Gustier conditions are expected by Thursday. That will crank those numbers, and we will also see places like the West Desert getting some blowing dust. So we know that's coming. But that's because we're watching the development of this deepening trough. So this area of low pressure, two things could happen. It could, A, split. And if a low like that splits, we could get some light precipitation and some moderate cooler air. But if it doesn't split, option number two, and that low digs and heads towards the Beehive State, we could see more widespread wet weather. So we would be dealing with some valley rain, mountain snow. But if this open wave holds on, that open wave could bring in chillier air, meaning that the snow level, not only going to bring snow to the mountains, could drop low enough where we could see benches getting some snow and possibly our first valley snowflakes of the season. We're going to keep an eye on it. Again, the weather models don't agree on this, so we're going to watch those two options and see what happens. But that would be pretty close to our average first valley snowfall that typically happens in Salt Lake City November 8th. So a few days behind, but fairly close. We get another storm rolling in on Monday, so a more progressive pattern setting up. The long-range futurecast shows clouds in the forecast for our Veterans Day into Wednesday. The winds will start to pick up late Wednesday and into Thursday, and you'll notice some wet weather. The cold front comes through, bringing in the potential of wet weather out there into Friday. We'll see what happens. Temperatures for tomorrow in the 60s, haze permitting, 70s in St. George. Looking at the next 7 days, you're going to notice those numbers in the 70s dropping to the 50s with the potential of wet weather Friday overnight into early Saturday. Here's the Wasatch Front. I went 70 on Thursday. I think those winds will whip, dropping into the 50s with some wet weather and some showers to close out the work week. We'll be right back.